There's magic in your backyard. Go and find it!
We'll head around to all the towns, head away, holiday. South Aussie with Cosi's on sit down. South Aussie with Cosi. In South Australia we will go, head away, holiday. South Australia all the way, South Aussie with Cosi.
Well, welcome to another episode of South Aussie with Cosi, and this episode we are profiling one of my favourite destinations, Kangaroo Island. We're standing here on Seal Bay, which has got, believe it or not, the third largest sea lion colony in Australia. It is divine. Have a look at this place. Coming up, we've got your chance to win a free holiday in SA. You can register right now if you like. Just like the Facebook page and enter. We'll meet Kangaroo Island's most photographed man. There he is right there. Have a look at him. And I'll tell you about when they used to have horse races on the beach here in Kangaroo Island. But first, a four-wheel drive adventure minus the hassle of organising it. Now, I can guarantee that a trip to Kangaroo Island will not only refresh the spirit and the soul, but it'll make you feel alive again. Did you know that Kangaroo Island is actually 7 times the size of Singapore? That's absolutely massive. And if you want a stress-free holiday where you have to worry about absolutely nothing, then have I got the perfect idea for you.
Kangaroo Island Wilderness Tours, we run luxury four-wheel drive tours. They're very personalised tours. You have a maximum of 6 people in your group. Our guides are all locals. We insist on our guides having lived on Kangaroo Island for a minimum of 25 years, so they know everything about Kangaroo Island, but they also have a passion for it, so they love taking guests out on tour.
We're heading off with Kangaroo Island Wilderness Tours to do our day trip of KI with Speedy as our guide.
Welcome to Seal Bay, mate. One of our premier spots here on Kangaroo Island.
Yep.
Home of the Australian sea lion. As you can see, an absolutely fantastic spot. Beautiful water. What do you think?
You know, I don't even reckon I've been anywhere quite so beautiful as this. Obviously, you've got the seals, they're the stars of the show.
Absolutely.
But the sand, the cliffs, and the water is so crystal clear. Mate, you've got the best office in the world, haven't you?
Oh, look, mate, I'm not complaining, that's for sure.
Gorgeous.
Here at Seal Bay, there are about 1,000 Australian sea lions that breed here and that visit here. They're never all here at the one time. There are always some out hunting for 3 days and then they come back for 3 days rest. So while they might look like they're lazy, we're actually looking at the resting side of their life, and it's a pretty well-earned rest. The females that you can see on the beach here are what we call the ocean super mums, because they're actually pregnant for 18 months, which is the longest pregnancy out of any seal in the world. And then the pups are also suckling for about 18 months, basically until the next pup is born as well.
Okay, stop down for a second. Picture yourself as this seal right here. That is you. You've made the decision to leave the stress of the city behind, you've packed the car, you've headed to Kangaroo Island, and as soon as you get off the ferry and take your first step onto KI, it's like, come on, head to the island. You're going to feel removed, recharged, and replenished. After a morning with the seals, it was back in the four-wheel drive. Kangaroo Island Wilderness Tours not only organise your day and do all the driving.
Now, Cosi.
Yeah,
You'll have a steak, mate,
yeah.
I reckon, yeah.
They also take care of lunch, and that includes cooking. And what a place to have lunch. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Stokes Bay. You know, the best thing about doing a personalised four-wheel drive tour like we've done today is that unlike a bus tour, you can stop wherever you want. Now, Speedy, you pulled up to show us what?
This is Mr. Turner's castle. He decided he wanted a castle, so he went ahead and built one.
Wow. And what is there, a Christmas light display here each year?
Yes, he's got about 40,000 Christmas lights here, and look, at Christmas time it's just lit up. It's absolutely gorgeous. Tourists just love coming here and looking at it.
Quite often I've heard Kangaroo Island described as the zoo without fences. It's so true. We've seen goannas and we've seen loads of kangaroos. Look at the fella, I think it's a fella, that's just behind us here. We are so close to him and he's relatively unfazed. I think it's a boy. For South Australians, Kangaroo Island has got to be the easiest way to head overseas. Forget your passport, forget the check-in queues, the long security checks, the long red-eye flight. Just go to Kangaroo Island where you're going to find pristine white sandy beaches and some of the most amazing scenery you'll see, coupled with world-class accommodation, including a place in Emu Bay called Seascape Lodge, and that's where our day tour ended.
Seascape Lodge was purpose-built about 10 years ago, and being purpose-built, it means that every room takes in the beautiful view. So you look down over the gorgeous Emu Bay. My husband and I host, so we actually join the guests for dinner around the table each night, and for us that's the fun part of the business, and we get to meet the most amazingly interesting people from all around the world. So this is halloumi cheese, which is a Greek Cypriot recipe, but it's made here on Kangaroo Island. So there's a sheep dairy just near the airport, so they milk the sheep and they make beautiful cheeses. This one's halloumi. Please enjoy.
Thank you very much. For more info on the personalised day trips to KI, head to wildernesstours.com.au, and if you're keen to stay at Emu Bay, we'll take a look at seascapelodge.com.au.
If you want to have a hassle-free holiday, let us do all the worrying. You come over here and just enjoy the tour.
There's something really special about visiting Kangaroo Island and leaving the mainland behind. Being totally removed from everyday life is extremely liberating. You've got to come and see it for yourself.
South Aussie with Cosi. South Aussie with Cosi.
Claire Lindop was the first Aussie female to ride in a Melbourne Cup. How cool is that? In one of the only sports where men and women compete on the same playing field, Claire regularly smashes the boys, and I couldn't be more proud to call her a Foodland mighty South Aussie. Let's find out what this jockey girl loves about living in SA.
A must-do thing in South Australia is definitely a trip to McLaren Vale. I just think 20 minutes out of the city, you're in a beautiful environment. You could be sitting in Tuscany, really, in some of those wineries are just gorgeous. Corriol is one of my favourites. Oakbank. It's really unique and certainly tests your horses, and sometimes you can get away with winning on a horse because you can outride someone there. Favourite country town in South Australia has to be Clare. My name's spelt the same as Clare. It's a beautiful valley when you drive into it. It's so green and lush, beautiful wineries. Although I haven't had a lot of luck at the racetrack there, to be honest. It's been a bit of a joke that Clare can't ride a winner at Clare.
Horse racing in Kangaroo Island has been around for years. Have you ever seen the ad on TV about horse racing in KI and thought, why are they running horses on the beach?
There's nothing like the sound of distant thunder.
Well, there's a reason for that. This is where it all started, right here in Emu Bay. See, the local farmers used to gather their horses here and have horse racing right here on the beach. How awesome would that have been? Thundering hooves, cruising along, the families gathered on the outside. Absolutely unreal. Well, nowadays things have changed. They no longer race horses at Emu Bay. They've got their own racetrack. Everything seems to be an adventure in Kangaroo Island. Even getting to the racetrack, you need to cross a bridge. I love it.
We've got smoked oyster and
The place to be at regional races in SA is the brand new Eden Marquee.
The Eden Marquee is a new thoroughbred racing initiative. It's a luxury marquee that's going to go around South Australia and basically showcase our state. So we'll be going to Port Lincoln, we'll be going to Oakbank and also Strath. But at each event we're going to have something a bit special to, for instance, today we're at KI, so we've got a snake handler coming in which showcases wildlife, Garden of Eden, snake, which is a bit of fun. Country racing gets you out of the city, it gets you into the country. Look, it just looks gorgeous. There's stuff to do for your family, for the children, there's stuff to do for corporates. It's just a fun day out. Because basically, there's nothing like a day at the races.
It's St Ives out wide, going out after Cheville. Lecky's about to come to the outside. They beat off Hill King. It's St Ives reaching...
Turns out nowadays we're getting way more female jockeys than men. Jockey Claire Lindop, well, she explains.
Female jockeys Australia-wide are definitely increasing in numbers, and here in South Australia on Apprentice Academy we've got 75% coming through are females now as opposed to the guys. Country racing is where I started, where most of us in the industry started. As an apprentice, you don't get it right at Wolfville first go, so you have to go to these meetings to learn your trade. And this is just a good day and a good race meeting, and I love it.
Away at racing now.
And in true legend style, Claire went on to beat the boys, and she actually won the Kangaroo Island Cup.
So St Ives wins the Kangaroo Island Cup for Claire Lindop and Paula Trentwin.
They say there's nothing like a day at the races, and I totally agree with them. There's country racetracks all over SA, like Mount Gambier, Port Lincoln, Roxby Downs, Clare. Look, there's loads of them. For more information, head to theracessa.com.au and giddy up. I love the fact that Kangaroo Island is such a draw card around the world. We've even run into a tourist down here at Emu Bay from
Switzerland.
Switzerland,
yes.
And what do you think of Kangaroo Island?
Kangaroo Island is a nice island and many beaches and wonderful animals and a good cooker.
Yeah. And do you have anything like this in Switzerland?
Not the same. No.
I dared old mate from Switzerland to strip down and jump in the water and, well, my dare was accepted.
South Aussie with Cosi. South Aussie with Cosi.
Look, I know you guys love holidaying around South Australia as much as I do. That's why I encourage you to send in your photos from your holidays in order to win some pretty cool prizes. Let's find out who's in this week's draw. Paul Kegler, or Kegs as I like to call him, took the family away to KI for some, well, crazy times. They caught themselves a feed of whiting, but they also visited Paul's place. It's loaded with wildlife where they got to bottle feed a kangaroo. Have a look at that guy. The kids were attacked by birds and mum even got to cuddle a koala. Great parenting, Kegs. Your kids are going to remember this stuff forever, old mate. And now you're in the running to win $500, all thanks to Adelaide Arcade, and that's just for sending your photos in. Do you know there are loads of things to do in Kangaroo Island that are either free, like the beaches, or that are extremely cheap. Once you're on the island, you don't have to spend hardly anything. We are about to do the Bernie Lewis $100 challenge. For under $100 a couple, I'll show you all the things you can do in one day here in Kangaroo Island. Now that's per couple, it's only $50 a head. Our first stop is Clifford's Honey Farm.
We always welcome families, so get people from all over the world visit us. It's just a great affordable way to go, coming to Kangaroo Island. They come out and enjoy our honeys and learn all about the special honeybees from Italy, and the displays for free as well. But if they want to have a group tour and organise that, they can come out here. It's really affordable, just have a group tour as well.
We leave Clifford's Honey Farm with this fact about bees. Do you know the average bee only lives 6 weeks? Oh, harsh deal. For more info on the honey farm, check out cliffordshoney.com.au. Kangaroo Island is famous for producing great artists, and Fine Art Gallery in Kingscote is a place where you can check out an art gallery for free. That's a bargain.
We've been here for 5 years, and our whole goal was to showcase the very best of the island's artists, because there are fabulous and many, many artists here on the island. This is a Janine McIntosh. She uses real eucalyptus leaves and other organic material, and she's collected and she's pressed in a traditional herbarium, and she has sewn and glued every piece onto this canvas. And just about everybody who comes through the door, they stop and they see this piece, and then the silence happens and they go, oh wow. We'll get visitors come through the door, put their hand in their pocket and say, how much to come through here? And I love to just say, no, please, come on in. It's all completely free.
I really got a lot out of having a look through the art gallery, and given it won't cost you a red cent, that fits in perfectly with the old Bernie Lewis budget challenge. We're going to continue the Bernie Lewis $100 challenge. I'll show you how to spend less than $100 here in Kangaroo Island for a full day out, and that's for a couple. Now, when you think of dairies, you generally think of cows. Well, not here in Kangaroo Island. Believe it or not, they've got their own sheep dairy.
The dairy's been here for nearly 20 years. Basically, they started because they were looking for something different to do for their sheep and decided that they would try making sheep's yoghurt. From there, it's grown into a property where we run 1,200 milking ewes, and we make 6 different sorts of cheeses and 2 sorts of yogurts. While sheep don't produce a lot of milk like cows do, sheep only produce about 1.2 to 2.5 litres of milk each time they milk. So for us, it's much better to turn it into cheese and yoghurt than it is for us to sell it as a drinking product.
Hey kids, listen up. Have you ever wondered what it sounds like to milk a sheep? Well, let's take a listen.
We encourage people to come and visit us so that they learn where their cheese and their yogurts come from. We have a lot of young kids that come here that have no idea that you can get milk from a sheep. So it's nice for us to be able to show people that animals live in a nice, healthy, clean environment and produce really nice, healthy foods.
A visit to the sheep dairy in KI is a great way to get all of the answers to any questions you've ever had about milking sheep, including this one. Check out their website, islandpure.com.au.
South Aussie with Cosi. South Aussie with Cosi.
Welcome back to South Aussie with Cosi. We're here at Seal Bay. We're having a good old sticky beak at Kangaroo Island, which is actually 155 kilometres long. How long's that? Well, it's like driving from Adelaide to the Copper Triangle on York Peninsula. It's actually quite huge. And there's only about 5,000 residents on Kangaroo Island, so there's plenty of room for you. Now we're doing the Bernie Lewis $100 challenge, a day's entertainment in KI for less than $100 a couple. So far we've visited the bee farm, art gallery, sheep dairy, and now it's pelican time.
I'm John the Pelican Man, and I come down here at 5 o'clock every day to feed the pelicans. I've been doing it for 17 years now, and in all of that time we haven't had one written complaint from a pelican.
Now, some of you may have noticed how the pelicans do a fancy water ski landing. Sometimes you can crash their landings at the last minute by throwing a piece of fish at them. And another go. Some of you think I wear a hat to keep the sun off. Nothing to do with the table manners is the problem. When pelicans eat their food, they do not chew it. They simply swallow everything whole, and you'll just have to accept as gospel that they can swallow a fair amount in one hit. And I'll try and demonstrate with the old fools on the platform, and I am of course referring to the pelicans. Right, you're all relaxed?
You know, hanging out with the pelicans is a great way to work up an appetite. And I put it up on Facebook, where's the best spot to eat takeaway in Kingscote? This place won it by a mile. It's apparently the island's best seafood, and it's right next door to a service station. Weird.
Kangaroo Island Fresh Seafoods was set up about 6.5 years ago because there wasn't really a fish shop on the island, and it was specifically supposed to be a fish shop, but through X before we opened we turned it into a fish and chip shop as well. Something unique we offer the tourists, which you don't get very many places, is we offer a filleting service. So a tourist can go on one of the many charters around the island, catch a bag full of fish or catch a few fish. They can bring them in here, we will fillet them and cryovac them down to meal sizes, whatever they require. Or if they just want them filleted and cooked, we will cook them the way they want to cook. Of course for a fee, but a lot of fishermen are quite happy after being out in the day on water to have someone else do the dirty work.
I love the idea that you can go out and catch fish and these guys clean it for you. That's perfect. No one likes the job of cleaning their own fish. That only leaves us with one job, and that's to sample the produce of Kangaroo Island.
Yum.
Well, that wraps up the Bernie Lewis $100 challenge. Now, remember my promise to you guys. It was that I would show you how we could spend a whole day in Kangaroo Island, and most importantly, not spend more than $100. The $1 million question is, how'd we go? Trip to the bee farm with a tour of the farm was $3.30 each if you're with a group booking, and of course it's free to visit their shop. Dropping into the art gallery in Kingscote, that was free. That's a bargain. A visit to the sheep dairy was $6.50 each. Pelican feeding was $5 an adult. There's $10 for us right there. And lunch and our takeaway dinner on the foreshore was $40 a couple. So to hang out for the day in Kangaroo Island and do all those things we did only set us back $69.60 for two people. That's just over $30 each. Once you're on Kangaroo Island, the cost of doing things here is really, really affordable. So get yourself busy and plan your trip to Kangaroo Island. Head to southaustralia.com. I hope you're enjoying your look around Kangaroo Island. You know what? This place is seriously a Facebook status waiting to happen. The place is gorgeous. Speaking of Facebook, I've got something super exciting for you guys. Would you like to win yourself not one, but 11 holidays? Because that's what I've got up for grabs. 11 holidays in South Australia will be given away for free to get you to explore places in regional SA. If you want to win one, all you need to do is jump on Facebook, like the page and enter, and you could be heading somewhere like this. Wallaroo Marina Apartments is calling, my friends. Have a look at this place. York Peninsula's only high-rise accommodation gives you unreal views across Wallaroo. You could win 2 nights accommodation and a free walk up the jetty. Sound like a plan? Do you want to win it for free? Then fire up the old Facebook, head to the South Aussie with Cosi page, click like and enter. There's loads of SA holidays in the SA Shorts holiday booklet, or you can always check out southaustralia.com for more holiday ideas. Well, that's it for another episode of South Aussie with Cosi. We leave you here at Seal Bay in Kangaroo Island. This is one of my favourite tourist destinations in South Australia, and I urge you all to take the time, make the effort to come to Kangaroo Island. Go to southaustralia.com, look it up, get your calendar out, book some dates. I always say to my wife, book now, think later, or before you know it, you never go on a holiday. Find a little bit of magic in your own backyard, and I can guarantee you'll find it here in KI. We'll see you next time.
In South Australia we will go, head away, holiday, South Australia all the way, South Aussie with Cosi.
South Aussie with Cosi is proudly brought to you by the South Australian Tourism Commission.
South Aussie with Cosi.
I like possums.